we back with Dan Orange Crush. All right, so I had a few questions for you. The first one we're gonna just get into. How old were you when you actually entered the Missouri prison?
19.
19 years
Yep.
old.
19.
All right, so what was the all right, so when you first got to prison, what was like the first thing you noticed just amongst the people, or like what kind of people were you dealing with?
Well, whenever I got to the walls, in the last video I said that, you go in the side door, you know what I mean? You get the shower and everything. They throw this little, it's supposed to be like some powder or something, you know what I mean? For, I guess, because not everybody's clean. Anyway, they throw that stuff on you. Anyway, you go up one house, and the one thing that I did notice that, white guys stuck together, you know what I mean? And then you seen like the other white guys that, hanging around the black guys and everything, you know what I mean? Most of the time them were punks, you know what I mean? And, just kind of seen that there. But whenever I went down to the chow hall, that's where I really seen it, Anyway, back then they didn't have up none of the fencing or anything. A little bit later they put that up, but it was just straight and man, just a hallway, and it went one line on this side's black line, and this is white line, and hey, get all through there, and you see the chow halls is a big old building. It's about the size of a basketball court, but you got a white side and a black side, man. And it was just all about respect. You know what I mean? Like whenever I first went there, the issue over the table, I sat down, the guy says, "Hey man, you're sitting in my seat," oh, yeah, okay. Well, I bounced around like that for a little while, and, anyway, some white guy, he hollered at me, "Hey." Anyway, went over there and, I got my seat. Guy said, "Hey man, you can sit here, man, but hey, you have to stand on that seat, I was like, "Yeah, all right." But I didn't really know the thing that I never actually had to fight over my seat, But hey, people would sit in my seat before, you know what I mean? Sometimes I'd go up to them and I'd tell them, "Hey man, you're sitting in my seat right now, but hey, sometimes, hey, most of the time they would get up, but hey, listen, sometimes I'd let them sit there and eat their meal, but hey, listen, you can't really be friendly like that because, listen, you're showing weakness whenever you do that." But I never actually had that problem with that there, but the respect in convicts, man, and that's what it was. It wasn't no inmate or anything. Back then it was convict. It said convict on the ID. But now it says offender. That's about how much the system's changed, man. But,
All right, so what was the longest you stayed on lockdown or like in said?
Ooh, well, anyway, little fluke deal. I got caught with a bomb on a piece of paper. It was, whenever they was talking about the Atlanta, Olympic bombing, whenever they did that bombing in Atlanta, that guy Richard or whatever. Anyway, hey, I'm just sitting in the cell and I just wrote down some stuff. Now you got to understand, I've been in this cell for like a year and a half because I'm in here for dangerous contraband anyway. Got caught with a syringe, got 5 years in Potosi. But I'm sitting in there and I've been in there about a year and a half, and this cop Warren comes up, shakes my cell down, and he thinks he's slick because, hey, listen, I'm ready. You know what I mean? Anyway, I had some Ativan at that time there. That's about the only type of medication that you could get on in prison that you could hold. You know what I mean? It's, save up, be like Valiums. But anyway, I had that stuff, and he came out of my cell and he says, "Orange Crush, I got you now." I says, "You ain't got shit, man. You ain't got nothing." I got a violation for Rule 3, dangerous contraband, bomb on a piece of paper. So anyway, whenever I got that violation, so I was about ready to get out. You know what I mean? I was going to do 18 months on the syringe that I got caught with. But hey, they tacked on another 18 months. And then I got caught with some syrup in my cell, and I ended up doing about 3 years in 5C, man, and it was no joke,
Was that the hardest time you spent in prison, those 3 years?
No, the hardest time was the end of my bit, is because it's where I had to think for the other person, man. run into situations that I would have just normally just beat the fuck out of somebody, but hey, I didn't, man, because hey, I'm going home, man. Kind of bite your lip a little bit, because hey, the whole time, it really, because it's, hey, you gotta do your time somewhere, you know what I mean? Hey,
Right.
hey, sometimes you're on the yard, sometimes you're not on the yard, whatever, sometimes you're in a house and you don't want to be in, but hey, it's very, very hard changing at the end because I can't keep on doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. You know what I mean? A fight is still a fight. Like I said, I got 197 Rule 25s. And a lot of bad guys though they don't understand anything about that, but that's 197 times I got caught fighting.
So when you like I heard when you get close to the end of your prison bid, guys will start like like just trying to make you fight or do something to make you more time.
Because then by then, hey, and I'm not claiming to be no hell of a motherfucker, but I've never told on anybody. I'm not no rat, man. Hey, I earn respect. You know what I mean? Because like some of the youngsters, man. Hey, listen, that could. Hey, if I had a situation with them, it could be very bad. Hey, listen, because they fuck people up. Hey, listen, they're very serious about what they're doing here. You know what I'm saying? So, I kind of got the OG thing. You know what I mean? But I always treated people with respect. If I owe them $5, I'm gonna pay them that $5, and they're gonna pay me my $5. But yeah, a couple people, you know what I mean? A couple guys check in, like in Bond Terror. Man, hey, I never let nobody get this far. And this guy knows that, hey, listen, I treated him like a brother, man. He owed me $197. Now, I had it worked out where he was going to pay me one store day and then the next store day, because I'm not going to take off you only get $250. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to take off. So I said 100 and 100. You know what I mean? He agreed. Well, the first time that he was supposed to go to the store, he checked in, man. Checked in. And listen, that's money that it was money that I had stacked up, Yes, it hurt me, but it didn't kill me,
Right. So checking in, for the people who don't know, is going to the guards and telling them you're like in fear for your life or something, or you can't be around the rest of the inmates.
Right.
So they gotta remove
most of the
you.
time you have to give a name.
Okay.
You have to give a name.
All right. So when the drugs get into prison, how would they coming into the prison without giving up too much?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't. The police and visiting room. That's about the way. But hey, listen, there's just so many different ways. But hey, whatever we wanted, we always had. I mean, hey, and there's no problem about that. You know what I mean? Hey, you just build trust about somebody. Like me, I never actually, had a full-time guy, but I was right there and I seen it, and I'd be like, golly, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hey, whenever you show up with a quarter pound of weed to the cell, you know what I mean? Hey,
So what was the most common drugs that you were seeing in prison?
Well, marijuana was always there. Everybody had 2 for 15. That's the thing. Hey man, listen. Hey man, can I get 2 for 15? Hey, whenever you build trust with another convict, man. Hey, because they don't want. Most guys are in this for the money because they got to pay for what they want to smoke. You know what I mean? So
Right.
The more money I get, hey, the more I smoke. But between fellas, you know what I mean, we'd be 2 for 15. You know what I mean? But hey, the way me and my friends did it, hey, listen, I looked out for him, he looked out for me. And hey, there'd be like a situation, be like, hey, Crush, hey man, can you help me out here? Yeah. Hey, help him out. Hey, get back to the housing unit, unload. Hey, he said, hey Crush, I'll be back to holler at you. Hey, and you know what? He was the first motherfucker that come hollered at me, because I didn't have anybody else waiting to holler at me, but he came immediately. And hey man, just a good feeling there. But just prison, you can get whatever you want, man. Just like Morgan Freeman and the little rock hammer, man.
right. So in prison, what was probably the biggest gang that was, or the most number gang that you would see in prison?
Well, you got black, you know what I mean? GDs, you know, what's called very, very serious people, man, you know, but very, very good people, man, you know. Hey, listen, you know what you're doing is between him and you know what I mean? Hey, and the GEDs, the Moors, you know, Moorish Science Temple of America. Whenever I met Jerry Lewis Bay and his son, Marky Lewis, well, I met his dad first, and then I met Marky. But you know, just meeting them guys there, man, they were probably some. But then you had the other, you know, like the Aryan Brotherhood. You had the white side of it. You know what I mean? The guys that I always dealt with, man, was really, really good people, man. Little JJ, you know, man, wonderful guy, man, old dude, man. But hey, you know this guy would kill you, and hey, he's by himself. So you know, like me, hey, listen, I was always by myself, but I had my friends, and like if they ever needed help, hey, listen, hey, you know, because I know they ain't on no bullshit. They ain't trying to rob nobody. You know, hey, if they're coming to you, man, hey, listen, you messed up, dog. You know.
Right. So did you ever see the gangs like have like riots or wars?
Oh yeah. Hey, the Blood and the Crips went crazy, man. And listen, that affected a lot of people, man. Because hey, you know, hey, you got to understand, whenever the fight kicks off, they ain't looking to see who's there. They want bodies hitting the floor. You know, like in the chow hall, man. Hey, if guys come in there, and you can always tell because they'll have the knives taped to their hands, and they are very, very, very serious. Hey, if you got them motherfuckers coming for you, you're done. You're done. I'm gonna tell you, hey, and see, the reason why they tape the knives on the hand is because they don't want to leave that knife. Wherever they go, wherever the police gonna fucking lock me up or whatever, I'm gonna give them these fucking knives. Because I've seen the guys that stab somebody and throw the knife on the ground, and well, his partner picked that up, and he's already got it in his back. You know, crazy. Yes.
All right. So what was probably the most dangerous gang in the prison, or you would be like, yeah, that's the gang that is the most dangerous?
GDs, for sure. Hey, listen, because listen, you don't even know who a GD actually is. You know what I mean? Because you know, they're every type of person. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, a white guy. You know what I mean? That GDs just ain't no just black gang. You know. What's called? I had a cellie one time anyway. He was a GD, and man, he was very serious. And hey, listen, he took care of the cell. You know what I mean? Hey, I take care of my part. He takes care of his part. Hey, dog, we live, we jailed. You know what I mean? But I think, you know, but then you got the white guys too. You know what I mean? Because hey, listen, back then you had like the Aryan Brotherhood, and they was called Teutonic Warriors. You know, and they were very, very serious. They stab you. And listen, if they get drunk, oh, they're stabbing somebody. Because sometimes it's like whenever they drink, they think about the people that did them wrong or didn't pay them whenever, or, you know, just set tripping, you know what I mean? But, they stab you to kill you, man. Stab you to kill you.
Yeah, that's funny that you said that it's kind of interesting. You said that you wouldn't know a GD sometimes if they were, because my cousin said that he had an incident where his cellie was a GD, and the whole time he never knew it until he had an issue with the GDs, and he had to solve it. Yeah. That's interesting. So,
because hey, you know, like with them, hey, they're more business. You know what I mean? They have structure. You know what I mean? You know, because people think people in gangs are just all dope fiends and dope. No. A big thing about a gang, hey, listen, you can't be an alcoholic or a fucking dope head, because they don't want nobody like that. They want somebody structurally minded, structurally person. You know what I mean? Like they always work out together. You know what I mean? Hey, You know, hey, doesn't, and then you see it like they run. You know, there may be 30 of them. You know what I mean?
So they stuck together.
Yes.
All right. So when did the gangs have specific leaders, or were they just like, probably take a vote and, whatever they vote, they'll run with that, or was it just like
they
one
all,
person?
What's called, they all have like a, like with the Moors, Jerry Lewis Bay, he was a man that that's whenever I seen where people respected him. Hey, they respected him. When I first met him over in Illinois, I got arrested on this murder. He's one of the guys I met in the tank. Anyway, it was kind of comical. This fat white guy, a cop, he come in and said, "Hey man, give me that hat. You can't have that hat in there." He says, "Sir, Mayor Vincent Shamel," and you have to understand, this is exactly how it happened. No making up. He says, "Sir," and he said just like that there, "Mayor Vincent Shamel gave me permission to wear this in the courtroom. I can wear this right here, and I'm gonna wear it." If he says, "If you want it, come get it." Hey, and that's the first time that I actually seen where a person was respected, And hey, listen, and just like that there, anyway, me and him, we had a little deal. Hey, he doesn't eat meat, So hey, listen, I give him my veggies, he gives me his meat. You know what I mean? I was just like, hey, but hey, this is really this is respect, and I was glad that I got treated this respect like this. He said, anyway, they had some barbecue pork or something like that. Anyway, this other guy come in, he wasn't part of being a Moor or anything, but anyway, they had a little talk, and the guy said, "Hey, let me get that. I'll give you that there." He says, "No, I already got a deal with the white boy." Hey, listen, that's whenever I was kind of respected for my first time in jail,
All right, so most gangs had just a specific leader.
Yeah, what's called, they all have a guy, and listen, you may not know it because, hey, he's the guy back, looking, making sure everything's taken care of, you know what I mean? Ain't no bullshit, because, hey, you don't just jump on somebody, Hey, listen, you got to find out who that person is, you just don't bump into somebody and, hey, he may be wrong or you may be wrong, but you don't just jump on somebody. You have to check that person out, and you have to make sure, because listen, you may have hit somebody that you shouldn't have hit.
All right, so back in like the 80s and early 90s, gangs had like initiations, but now they pretty much don't. Did they have them when you were in prison?
Well, I don't really know about the initiations, but I do know this here. The only way you're going to get your stripes is to show them, and that's a point blank thing. So hey, listen, if you want to be respected, hey, you got to stand up, man. And I'll tell you, my first fight, with Tommy Powell, hey, that there, hey, he owed me $15, and he told me every story in the world, and I was about ready to take it, but somebody said, "Hey, Crush, you can't let that guy do that to you, man." And I beat him up, and anyway, that was my first fight. That was my first fight in the joint. Well, it wasn't my first fight in the joint. It was my first fight in prison, because in city jail we was fighting in there. But I knew I was respected whenever I got down in the hole, and the Walkman already had my stamps from Tommy. Hey, because Tommy's the guy that owed me the $15, and he sent my money over. And we yelled through the vent, you know what I mean? He went his way, but he just knew that he tripped. He thought I was one that he could get that off on,
Right.
And I just let him see it. No, you ain't.
All right, so did you see a lot of cell phones in prison like they do?
Towards the end, yes, I seen a couple of them, hey, and I never really actually ever, because the business that I had to take care of, I didn't really need anything like that. But yeah, the cell phones, and you always hide them in a box of soap, Purex box, make a false bottom, put it in there, and Hey, listen, it was so sweet. You know, hey, listen, hey, the cop picking it up and everything. Listen, and I'm telling you, you cannot tell, man. You cannot tell because they didn't. Anyway, they take all the soap out the box. They make another top just for that inside right there, and they fold it in. And listen, man, they're good. They're good, man. I'm telling you, they're good. And they glue that down in there, and that's why you don't get soap in a box no more. You know what I mean?
I really had to
But
stop.
I doesn't, you know.
All right, so all right, so the Aryan Circle was a big gang in the prison.
Towards the end, yeah, they was deep, you know, and they was very, very serious, you know. They're mainly, you know, well, they're all white gang, and they're very, very serious, man. But I'll tell you, hey, doesn't, you know, hey, I've never had any trouble with anybody like that because they doesn't, you know, hey, they're just like anybody else. They're just like the electric company, you know. Hey, you got to pay the electric company, you know.
Did you ever get asked to join any gangs?
No, I never actually did because I was kind of more or less a loner, you know. You know, I was born in Bonne Terre, Missouri, but then I went up to South St. Louis, and no, I was in a group of guys, you know what I'm saying. But hey, we wasn't no clique or anything. We was just fellas. We was friends, real good friends, and we all jailed together, man. And that's what it takes, you know.
All right, so the last time you talked about Hogg Roy Roberts.
Yep, Hogg Roy Roberts,
And
an innocent man.
I looked up his last words, and they said that his last words were, "You're killing an innocent man, and you can all kiss my ass."
Yes.
So that's the type of person he was.
That is Hogg. Hey, listen, and hey, I think he turned his last meal down too.
I believe he did.
Yeah,
I think I read that.
I think he turned his last meal down because he's that type of person. But hey, just like right there, innocent. Hey, whenever they come to the housing unit, man, and got him, he's like, "Hey, man, I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I'm coming back." Well, that's one time he didn't come back because he came back like 2 different times. And whenever I say come back, they come to you about 2 to 3 weeks, maybe sometimes a month. If you're, you know, they'll come get you and they'll take you to the death house, you know, like the death chamber. You know what I mean? There'll be a cell that you're going to live in. Anyway, they give you a certain amount of canteen. I think they may give you a $200 a month spend limit. But hey, you ain't there no whole month. So, yeah, but he didn't come back that time, and I know that's the words that Hogg said, man. You know, because he was in that law library every day, and he helped more people. He helped more people on little bitty things you got to file, you know. And he was a guy that you could trust with what your case is, because it ain't nobody's business what your case is, but it is too, because you know, you have a lot of sexual predators, you know. Me and my group, we didn't really mess around with a lot of sex offenders, you know. You know, and the guys that were sex offenders that like come through there and you find out they got a Y by their name, man, it changes the flavor, because you know, some people make a mistake, but some of that is a sickness, you know.
So so I was when I was reading his article, it was saying that, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm not sure if they actually proved that he was innocent, but it was a lot that surrounding his case, saying, like, one guard even said that he was in a different part of the prison with Roberts, and there's no way he could have did the stabbing himself if he was in another part of the prison at the time.
Well, I'm telling you, convict to convict, me and Hogg, we knew each other. Hey, he was my friend, man. He was my friend, man. He was my cellie a couple different times, and man, he told me he didn't do it, you know. And what's called, and I know the guy that did it, man. And it's a real bad thing that guy didn't step up and take his weight. You know, that is terrible that he let that guy go when all he could have just stepped in and said, "Hey, man, Hog didn't do it, I did it." You know, for some reason he didn't do that, man.
And in the article, I also read that he was actually sent to prison for a crime he didn't commit. Also,
I'm not really sure about that, but I wouldn't doubt it. Hey, there's a lot of people that are, hey, you know, the Innocent Project, man, if they really took a time, hey, they could be helping a lot more people. There's a guy in prison, his name's Ricky Novak. Hey, listen, he did not do it. You know what I mean? Hey, listen, he did not shoot that guy, man. Hey, and listen, the courts even know that. They know that this other guy shot and killed this guy. But hey, this guy, hey, listen, you know.
so how many guys did you know for sure were innocent that you met in prison? Like that you can definitely
I can say two. Roy Roberts and Ricky Novak. I know Ricky Novak didn't shoot that guy. Hey, Hog Roberts didn't kill that cop.
That's deep. That's deep. So and they got it, and basically they both spent the rest of their lives in prison.
Yes, Ricky's in jail now. Ricky's still in jail. He's in Potosi Correctional Center right now. And hey, listen, he's working towards it. You know, try to get it, but he doesn't. Anyway, his case was the first ethnic intimidation case in St. Louis. His fall partner, his name's Isaiah Loza and Ricky Novak. And hey, listen, I know them both. They're both my friends, man. And Isaiah's out here now, you know. And hey, listen, he's the one that killed the guy. You know what I mean? And Isaiah did his time. He did a life sentence. But you know the difference in Isaiah and Ricky? Art Margulis and public defender. Ricky had the public defender. Isaiah is the guy that shot the guy. You know, hey, you know, a black guy showed up at this white guy's house and with these white girls. Hey, they just said, hey, listen, he's not welcome here, man. You know. Well, anyway, he like pushed himself in there. You know, throw me that gun. He got a shotgun. Boom, head blown off on Merrimack and Chippewa. Serious. So, and Isaiah shot and killed the guy, and he did his time in prison. You know what I mean? Hey,